Today, we also confer honorary degrees upon Arthur and Sonia Labatt in acknowledgement of their outstanding philanthropy, community and business leadership, and their contributions to Western. I'm delighted to welcome them to this convocation. To present our distinguished candidates, I now call upon Dean Jim Weiss, Faculty of Health Sciences.
Arthur and Sonia Labatt. Mr. Chancellor, graduates, parents, and honored guests, few people can claim to be greater friends of Western, London, health, and/or the health sciences than Arthur and Sonia Labatt. It is a distinct honor and privilege to present them to you today. Together, their volunteer and philanthropic endeavors have made a difference around the world, focusing on the enhancement of education, health, and research. Those three pillars are the foundation upon which their support of Western is built, and also frames their involvement with countless other organizations. Sonia, an associate faculty member at the University of Toronto's Centre for the Environment, has a strong record of academic achievement and an extensive resume of volunteer activities and community leadership, including directorships at the National Ballet of Canada, the Wellesley Hospital Foundation, and the Art Gallery of Ontario. She also sits as a member of the Board of Trustees at the Hospital for Sick Children. Arthur, who was named an Officer of the Order of Canada in 1996, co-founded what is now AIM Trimark, one of Canada's largest and most successful mutual fund companies. His record of volunteering and community leadership is also equally impressive. He has served as a director of a number of foundations and boards, including the Sick Kids Foundation, the Parkinson Foundation of Canada, the Canadian Opera Company, and the African Medical and Research Foundation. He also served as Western's Chancellor from 2004 to 2008. A spirit of giving, coupled with a commitment to improving the human condition and the world in which we live, has resulted in them being generous supporters of a number of organizations, institutions, and causes, including, of course, Western University. Their support has led to the creation of the Arthur and Sonia Labatt Brain Tumor Research Center at Sick Kids Hospital and the Labatt Family Heart Center in Toronto. They've also funded a number of organizations in Africa and in the Far East. This is to name only a few of the places where Arthur and Sonia have had an impact through their generous giving. These examples provide a glimpse of what is near and dear to them. Their contributions to this institution have helped shape our future and have had an immeasurable impact on the lives of students, many of whom will cross the stage this morning. In his recently published memoir, Arthur recounted his time as Western's Chancellor. He and Sonia were incredibly impressed with the talent and dedication of the faculty and staff members at this university and by the number of exceptional women and men who are being educated at both the undergraduate and graduate levels. At Western, their generosity has touched many areas, including health sciences, nursing, music, and graduate education. Of particular note are their gifts to the Faculty of Health Sciences that have allowed us to create the state-of-the-art Arthur and Sonia Labatt Health Sciences Building, and their significant contribution has allowed us to advance the Arthur Labatt Family School of Nursing. It is because of people like Arthur and Sonia that we continue to be able to offer our students the finest education possible. They have allowed us to be innovative in how we deliver a transformative educational experience that extends beyond the walls of the academy. They are difference makers of the highest order. Arthur and Sonia have proven to be leaders throughout their lives. Sonia in higher education, Arthur in the world of business and finance. But their greatest leadership comes from their ability to envision what is possible and their willingness to support activities with pride, interest, and enthusiasm. Mr. Chancellor, and on behalf of the Vice Chancellor and in the name of Senate, I ask you to confer the degree Doctor of Laws, honoris causa, upon both Arthur and Sonia Labatt, two exceptional human beings with sterling records of public service and professional achievement, and an unwavering love of this great institution.
By virtue of the authority vested in me as Chancellor, I admit you, Arthur Labatt, to the degree of Doctor of Laws, honoris causa. I admit you, Sonia Labatt, to the degree of Doctor of Laws, honoris causa. Congratulations, Dr. Labatt. On behalf of all assembled here today, I should now like to invite our newest alumni, Dr. Arthur Labatt and Dr. Sonia Labatt, to address Convocation.
President Chakma, Provost Deacon, distinguished members of the Platform Party, graduates of Western University, families and friends. First, I must say that Arthur and I are most grateful for these great honors that have been bestowed on us today. When thinking about what I'd say to the graduates today, a friend of mine suggested that I relate the length of my comments to the dress code that was in fashion in 1960 when I graduated, a while ago. At that time, we made sure that our skirts were long enough to cover everything, but short enough still to be interesting. So in the next few minutes, I'll try to apply these principles as I share with you some of the key points that I learned from my academic involvement. My first point is the importance of continuing to learn. My own experience spanned 55 years, from my first year in 1956 in honor science to my final association at the Center for Environment at the University of Toronto. But like many things in life, this journey has not followed a very direct route. In fact, the theme of my continuing learning saga could well be entitled The Road Less Traveled. When I graduated with my BA in food chemistry in 1960, I was awarded a fellowship to an American university to continue my studies. But I was married at the time, so therefore I didn't accept the offer. In the following years, Arthur and I enjoyed raising a family, traveling extensively, and living in a number of different cities, including in Paris and France. As the time passed, however, I continued to feel that my education was incomplete. So I decided in 1987 to return to the University of Toronto to take a master's degree in environmental studies. Now, coming back to the university after a 25-year hiatus was somewhat daunting, I must say. And here is where I learned my second point, to recognize the humor in parts of my journey. On applying to pursue my master's degree, the department would normally have required a letter of recommendation from my undergraduate advisor. But I suppose, suggested the department chair, that your professors are either all retired or more likely all expired by now. Also at that time, the administrative office rejected my student number for having too few digits. I suggested that they look back 25 years or so, and lo and behold, there I was. My advisor for my PhD, Virginia McLaren, is younger than I am by at least 20 years, I'd say. So after defending my dissertation in 1995, Virginia and I went to the graduate school offices to sign some official documents. There, I was handed the advisor's document and Virginia the student's one, since I was visibly the more senior of the two. This was quickly corrected, but as you can see, not quite as quickly forgotten. So I suppose my second message is, if you follow this nonlinear road, remember not to take yourself too seriously and just roll with the punches. When I returned to the world of academia in 1987, I had developed a great interest in the environment, a subject matter, by the way, that didn't even have courses in 1960. Also, by 1987, I had absorbed some understanding of the business and financial world. Thus, I was able to put together two areas of knowledge that I had gained since my BA in 1960. Persevering through challenges of continued learning has awarded me a number of opportunities. I was able to examine corporate environmental and carbon management, establish 2 new courses, teach at the Center for Environment, and co-author 2 books. Each of these stepping stones presented a challenge, since I had not done any of them before, but the satisfaction I experienced upon completion was well worth it. Thus, my next message is that one should accept meaningful challenges as they present themselves, because many challenges are accompanied by many great opportunities. I believe that higher learning is critical to Canada's future. It makes us as individuals and as a country more competitive and prosperous, and not to mention more interesting. And it opens up potential for all sorts of original thought. And we all need people and institutions that think differently. Take for a quick example how we view water as a resource. Historically, water has been perceived as a common good, collectively owned and shared by all. However, today, we are witnessing an increased scarcity of water, creating environmental refugees in Africa and massive water diversion proposals in China and elsewhere. But at the same time, business and the public sector are becoming involved in water management, using strategic thinking about supply and demand and new technologies to improve the quality, access, and availability of water. So now turning to today's accomplished graduates. You may not have all the answers today, but your experience here at Western has given you a solid foundation with the tools to develop a vision, the ability to view a challenge as an opportunity, and the capacity to think differently. All these qualities are important as you venture out on paths that others may not take. If I can leave you with one last thought, it is to look at today as a stepping stone to further education. As you can see from my experience, you can do it all, but you don't have to do it all at once. So graduates, I congratulate you all and wish you well, whether you take the road more or less traveled. Thank you.
Well, following Sonia, I feel a little bit like Prince Philip. Always following the Queen. Now, it's easy to see that Sonia is the academic in the family, no question. We had been married 2 years when Sonia got her BA in food chemistry. And I learned very quickly that food chemistry has nothing to do with knowing how to cook. Actually, she's a good cook now. Now, tradition would dictate that Sonia and I should bestow some profound and maybe even life-changing comments here today. Well, that's a pretty tall order. But I will try to share a few thoughts that might resonate with you. I don't have to tell anybody in this room that Western is a very special institution. It's recognized as having a superb focus on the student experience, and also it has a tradition of excellence both in research and education. Western graduates can be found just in all corners of the world. Now, receiving an honorary degree here at Alumni Hall is very special to me because London and Western mean so much to me personally. Being a Labatt, growing up in London, wasn't always easy. One of my concerns was that I would be having a beer in a local bar, they were called beverage rooms in those days, and being caught for drinking underage. And my greatest worry was that my picture would be plastered all over the front page of the London Free Press. So now more recently, I had the privilege, and it really was a wonderful privilege, to have been Chancellor at Western for 4 years. It gave me an opportunity to become really involved with the school and to get to know this great university. And I can assure you all that you will all be proud to say you graduated from Western. Now, although these are not easy times, I'd just like to take a few minutes to tell you why I envy you the next 30 or 40 years. Now, I'm not necessarily talking about being envious because of your youthfulness, your energy, your resilience. Well, maybe a little envious of all that. But I'm talking about what it would be like for you looking back to today. Of course, you're probably feeling that, thinking that I've been watching too many of those time travel movies, like Bruce Willis's Looper. This is the latest one. Well, it's not true. What I'm saying is that change is happening at lightning speed. You will witness the type of progress in the next 40 years that previously took perhaps 250 years from the Industrial Revolution. There will be fundamental shifts in our society and our economy. As you can imagine, changes in technology will be swift and dramatic. Currently, 2/3 of the world's population has a mobile phone. That's some 5 billion people. And just to put the importance of technology in perspective, look at Facebook. It's not even 10 years old, and its CEO, Mark Zuckerberg, boasts that it now tops 1 billion users. If Facebook were a country, it would be the 3rd largest in the world. And what a connected country that would be. And with everybody having so many friends. Now, another fundamental shift will be the growth that emerging nations will far outpace the developed world. But here at home, one crucial change that is a rapidly aging population, and you've heard a lot about it, and it's becoming a reality, and it will have a dramatic impact on healthcare. You are leaders, many of you in this room, in this field, and a key ingredient to our future. Society desperately needs you to get us through one of the most interesting and challenging times in human history. Writing my memoirs gave me a chance to contemplate my life and what matters most. And here are just a few points I'll leave with you. Be persistent, and don't be afraid of failure. Remember that most successful people have had lots of disappointments and have bounced back. And success doesn't come in a straight line. I had to change directions many times, and my career certainly had its share of twists and turns, successes and failures. But I just kept at it. Now, growing up in London, I assumed that one day I'd join the family business and sit in my father's corner office, although I had no idea what he did there. However, by the time I was in my early 20s, the brewery had been sold, and this was a huge disappointment to me. But as time passed, I realized that this is the best thing that could have happened to me. It forced me to chart my own course, and That's why I called the book A Different Road. So as you move forward, listen to people who have your best interests at heart. Be fair and gracious to your colleagues. And continue the path of social responsibility that Western has instilled in you, giving of your time and your energy. Treat people the way you'd like to be treated. This is so important, and it's been my mantra in life. And finally, enjoy life. It's a gift. You have your degrees, or you will have shortly, and you're to be congratulated for all the hard work it took to reach this milestone. You have an excellent future ahead of you, and no one knows what the next century will unfold for each of you, but I'm confident that the best is yet to come. Thank you all for letting me share a little bit of your very special day. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Arthur and Sonia, and congratulations. You've both given so much of your time and your support to London, to healthcare, to the arts, and to the charities worldwide. And of course, you've been incredible supporters of Western in service and through your extraordinary generosity. We are so grateful for your gifts in support of music, graduate studies, and for your incredible contributions to health sciences. Your gift, as Dean Weiss has said, has allowed us to create the Arthur and Sonia Labatt Health Sciences Building, and you have been a driving force behind the many advances in the Arthur Labatt Family School of Nursing. So we thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in congratulating our newest honorary Doctors of Laws, Dr. Arthur and Sonia Labatt.